What's up, everybody? Welcome back in. I'm joined by Viviana, Peyton, Ben. I'm Cade. We're talking about football today. It's always a good day if you're able to talk about some football. Not a good day if you're a New Orleans Saints fan, or maybe it is. Yesterday wasn't a good day. Today might be a good day. Saints announced they fired head coach Dennis Allen after their 7th straight loss, naming Darren Rizzi their interim head coach. There's some other things on. You had to fire him. Social media was going crazy. Chris Olave's brother was throwing some words around. Michael Thomas has been talking trash on them the entire time. Their defensive tackle was saying some crazy things. First, I'm going to do a two-part question. Where do the Saints go from here? Do they have any life left this season? And then who should they target as their next head coach?
Well, the Saints should I would start by selling some players. We're going to talk about some players later who's going to be on the trade trade block. I think Marshawn Lattimore has to be here. And I guess some coaches they can go for. Ben Johnson, we all know what he's doing down in Detroit. Cliff Kingsbury, Mike Vrabel, also Steve Spagnuolo, the Chiefs defensive coordinator. He knows how to coach a team, or at least coach a defense. It's like one of the best defenses in the league. So, yeah, if you're the Saints, I'd start selling now. You only have about a day left.
I kind of agree. Just because, it's just been a dumpster fire from the start. You also got to take into account that the Saints have been injured since week 1. They've just Rashee Rice is out. You got players injured on defense. You got Derek Carr who was out. You had to put in Spencer Rattler, who was just obviously not ready for it. But honestly, I agree. What they do is that they sell, and I think that they go for a defensive-minded coach. I say Brian Flores. He's been doing great down in Minnesota, and I think that he can right the ship. We see what he did in Miami. I know there was a lot of drama with that, but all in all, he kind of righted the ship for them. And I think that the Saints can do it. I think they're just lost right now. 2-7 in the NFC South. It's tough. But yeah, I think that they really, honestly, like you said, Waddell, they need to sell.
Yeah, I agree with Blunt Flores. I think they need to go defensively. In the beginning of the year, everyone was like, "Oh my God, the Saints this, the Saints that."
Yeah, they're 2-0.
Yeah, they were going crazy.
New Orleans death rates were at the all-time lowest. People thought the Saints saved the city.
Yeah, they're scoring a bunch of points. Alvin Kamara going crazy, but now just completely.
Wheels are off.
Yeah, this firing was I wouldn't say deservable, but it was bench napped, and he was 7-10 his first season. He was 9-8 his second season, so it got better, winning record, and now at 2-7. It's very tough to have a winning record when you're 2-7. But yeah, this was bound to happen, and it's good to get him out now. I feel like they were more than patient with him.
Yeah.
With the 2-0 start, he looked like he locked up his future, but then losing 7 straight, it's just horrible.
Yeah. You can't have. I literally thought they were meme accounts or fake accounts. The players tweeting out. I've never seen anything like that. You get the odd maybe wide receiver, cornerback that's unhappy with their situation. It was multiple players. Kalen Saunders literally tweeted out, he was like, "Fans saying we should tank, just throw me at quarterback so we have something to watch." He blatantly disrespecting the team. Allen had to go. I agree. I think they need to bring in a guy that's a culture builder. I don't know if Ben Johnson is awesome. I think he's going to probably be the number one on everybody's boards. But I think, look at what Washington did. They went out and bought in Dan Quinn. I don't know if he's a culture guy, but he's a vet coach. Maybe bring in a guy like Mike Vrabel, defensive too. It could work. But
exactly. You talk about Dan Quinn too. He's another defensive guy. He's turned around that Washington franchise.
Yeah. Jane Daniels helps too, but Quinn definitely has a hand in that.
Yeah.
Speaking of Ben Johnson, the Lions want to keep him because the Lions just keep on winning, man. 24-14 over the Packers. They're top the NFC with a 7-1 record, but there's going to be some competition. The Commanders obviously sitting there at 7-2. 49ers sitting at 4-4, but they are getting Christian McCaffrey back hopefully sometime soon. Who's the clear favorites in the NFC? Is it the Lions?
Yeah, without a question. This team, they just flat out win. I think outside of what was week 2, where they lost to the Bucs, they put up 40 points in 3 contests so far, 30 and 4. And you mentioned what they blow teams out and then they win games you're supposed to win, especially against Minnesota. Big NFC North implications. Game-winning field goal against Green Bay. They handled business. Another NFC North team. This team just wins.
You talk about Aiden Hutchinson going down, and everyone's like, "Oh my gosh, what's going to happen with Detroit?" Because that's a big injury on their defense. Probably the best player on their defense.
Was he leading the league in sacks?
Yeah,
yes,
he was playing MVP type defensive player of the year ball, and he goes down, and everyone's like, "Well, what's going to happen? Is Detroit going to make any moves?" They haven't really made any moves, but they've been winning games. They haven't really had that they haven't really just. It was hard for them to see Aiden Hutchinson go down, but they were able to rebound and just continue to win.
Yeah, in their last 5 games, they've scored 196 points and holding their opponents to 95 points. So that 101 points differential is wild. And I think also when you shine the light on Jared Goff, I think He's playing like his best football that he has so far, and the connection to Amon-Ra St. Brown going crazy.
Yep.
He hasn't missed a pass to St. Brown since September. The last 30 passes,
so crazy.
That's a crazy
last
stat.
30 pass attempts have been on point. Yeah, I think Jared Goff is going off right now.
And you mentioned the Hutchinson injury. Just knowing Campbell, he seems like a person that'll go out and get a replacement like immediately.
Mhm.
I don't see them not making a replacement at edge rusher because they're going to win. This is, as of right now, their best chance to win the Super Bowl.
Yep.
This team is clicking on all cylinders. They hit that roadblock kind of in week 2 of this season, and now they've just blown the doors out. Like they're kind of, I guess, insulted that they're sharing the field with half these teams, winning. Like they're doing trick plays in the third quarter. It's insane. So this team is by far the best in the world.
And they're doing it in multiple ways on the offense. I mean, there's games where Goff goes out there and goes, didn't he have a game where he had 100% completion percentage? I think he was 18 of 18. They can throw the ball. And then also they have 2 running backs that literally both can go for 150 and multiple scores every game.
Yeah, they can play so much.
They're just insanely dangerous. Defense, I do think they had somebody on defense too. I think if you're a legit Super Bowl contender, you have to have somebody off the edge like that. And I think edge rushers, they always get dealt at the deadline. I think you're going to see that at the deadline. And guess what? Speaking of, tomorrow is the NFL trade deadline. Obviously, a lot of rumors, including the Lions, about in that edge rusher. You guys have any trade predictions?
Yeah, I'll stick with the Lions. I have them going out and getting Zadarius Smith. This makes too much sense with Hutchinson going down. Smith, he's a phenomenal edge rusher. You have to go out there and just go out and just get somebody to
Good bet.
get you over that, just complete your team.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I'll talk about my Pittsburgh Steelers. I mean, we've seen how Russell Wilson's been playing, as being heavily involved. I know you would know. I'm happy that you're a Steeler fan like me.
Of course, Minka Fitzpatrick. Love him.
I mean, but hey, we acquired him a few years ago via trade midseason, and look how he's turned out. And I think the Steelers, I think the Steelers could also make a good trade too. I think they definitely need another wide receiver along with George Pickens. I was thinking a guy like Adam Thielen, like a veteran guy.
Mike Williams?
Mike Williams
we can
too.
Give Mike Williams for first.
Isn't he hurt though?
Yeah,
For a
well, I think
first.
Thielen for a first. That's not going to happen.
All right,
But
fair.
I think Adam Thielen. I mean, despite his age, he's still playing solid ball. Especially we've seen him before he got injured. But yeah, Adam Thielen, Mike Williams. I don't know about that.
Yeah,
I don't know about
listeners with a shot.
Yeah, the Steelers, like you mentioned, are looking for a wide receiver, and then it came out that they were looking to get Christian Kirk from the Jaguars, but then he got injured.
Yeah,
season done. So yeah, like you said, I think with Russell now too, I think we just need more options to go down the field, and we can't just rely on George Pickens anymore. I mean, Van Jefferson is going off too, and then we do have Kevin Austin III. He's doing great too, but I just think we need another star player.
Yeah, I think there's no that might be the most obvious pick is Steelers, other than maybe the Lions, is Steelers wide receiver. Obviously, there's news that came out that said that basically I think they were that close to getting Ayuk, and then Ayuk came down and basically vetoed the trade. I think got a deal worked out. So they're going to get a wide receiver. Just depends on who. I think personally. Any trade predictions for me? I think the Jets dealed Mike Williams. Where? I don't know. I don't think the Jets make any trades around the position to. Talk about the Jets. It's like they're the only team in the NFL. Other teams, not sure. I don't care, honestly.
Yeah.
Go Jets.
I'm just focused on my Steelers.
One more. We mentioned
just want to win.
Yeah. We mentioned the Saints earlier in selling. I think Marshawn Lattimore, they have to sell him right now. He's one of the best corners in the league. And the team I have him going for, this might be a shocker, but I have the Chiefs going out and get him. I mean, they've proven already this year that they're going all in for this three-peat, going out and getting D-Hop with 2 weeks before the deadline. Go shore up another cornerback. You lost to L'Jarius Sneed. Well, you traded L'Jarius Sneed. You didn't really lose him.
Tennessee.
But just go get that shutdown, make that defense even more unstoppable, because that defense is one of the best. And I think it's the main reason the Chiefs are undefeated, because Mahomes has a 6 to 8 touchdown
Yeah,
ratio.
he's negative ratio.
So, and then I guess one more. I have the Bengals going out and getting Azeez Ojulari, which Giants edge rusher. I think he's going to be. You have to go and get him.
Yeah, I mean, why not?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, we're keeping the topic of players moving places. Best free agents. Obviously, NFL free agency might be the most robust. That in the NBA, where teams are just going out and throwing money. And I think it is proven that if you're not throwing money around on day one, you're going to do pretty well. Teams get anxious. Teams just start throwing stuff. But sometimes these work out. About halfway through the season, good time to evaluate who the best free agents were the offseason. We're going to go to the board, starting with Peyton. You're going to bring up one that's really impressive or one that has shocked you, whether good or bad.
Okay.
I'm interested to see. This is
I like this
segment. This free agent that I have to say, I hate to say this one. It's Derrick Henry. He has 168. He has 168 carries, which is first in the NFL. He has 1,052 rushing yards, first in the NFL. It's week 9, by the way. He has 11 rushing touchdowns, first in the NFL. 13 total touchdowns, which I'd assume by non-quarterback, that's first in the NFL as well. I mean, the Ravens went out and got him. We all knew Lamar Jackson's one of the best running, if not the best running quarterback in the league. I know that firsthand, watching him twice a year. Yeah, going out and getting Derrick Henry was a huge move. It was kind of one of the most tailor-made players for Baltimore with that rushing attack, and it's panned out in a huge way. This team is very scary right now.
Yeah,
So-
I mean, him and Lamar Jackson right now on my fantasy team, they're playing
Yeah.
No big deal.
fantastic. It's winning me so much. But yeah, no, I like it. Derrick Henry.
He just
Yeah.
makes sense in a Ravens uniform. Like, I know he was a career Titan before this. If you told me, like, if I was born today and you said that guy's on the Ravens, I'd be like, yeah,
Yeah.
looks
I mean,
like it.
they tried to get him last year. The
Yeah.
Ravens kind of won that without having to give up a draft pick
Yeah.
and just signing him for a couple $1 million.
I mean, no one was wanting to sign him because of his age and his mileage.
Yeah.
Well, now he
And
leaves.
yeah, he's
prove
still
him wrong.
producing. It's
Yeah.
crazy.
Mhm.
Crazy.
He's literally maybe a medical marvel. I'm not gonna lie.
Yeah.
I'm not gonna lie. Ben, let's see it.
All right. Well, I always decide to pick homer picks when I do board segments like this, but I think this is another important. I think it's another really good pick for me, and that's Russell Wilson
Oh man.
on the Pittsburgh Steelers. Now, hear me out,
All
guys. Justin Fields started the first 4 games. I say first 4 games of the year. Went 3-1. Not too bad. Russell Wilson comes in, tries to spice up the offense. First game, most points scored by the Steelers offense since
Yeah, I was
2021.
there.
3 years. Yeah, 37 points. And against a Jets defense that is technically supposed to be good.
Whoa, the Jets had 3 secondary players out. Just want to say that.
All right, well, you still had Sauce. You still had a tough guy out there. But anyways, this guy's been producing on offense. He's been throwing it downfield. It may not be like the most accurate balls in the world, but he's giving chances to guys like Pat Fryermuth, George Pickens, even Van Jefferson's getting the ball more. And, of course, that goes along with the running game. He's opening up the running game. Secondaries and defenses are afraid to let him throw the ball downfield to the playmakers. Opens up the running game. I think Russell Wilson just expanded this offense. I think in 2 games, I think he's proven that he can lead this team to the playoffs.
I'm really glad you said that because that's a crazy pick, but the reasons you gave were honestly dead on because I walked away from that Jet Steeler game being like all they did all game was just throw the ball up and they came down with it.
Yeah.
But that's a great point because the Steelers had a guy with Kenny Pickett. He wasn't even going in the right area code
No.
with some of the balls
No,
he threw
not
downfield.
at all.
Trubisky wasn't doing anything. Fields, I mean, we all like good player, but mainly just a more mobile guy.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's a great point.
And it's just refreshing too, seeing
Yeah.
because like haven't had a good offense like before even like when Big
Yeah.
Ben retired.
Yeah,
Exactly.
Even the offense wasn't good then, like
Yeah.
2020. So
I hate to say this, but I already said something nice about a division rival, so I'll go to the next division rival. If the Steelers, like Russell Wilson, he obviously is the greatest scorer in points. If they score like 24 points, they're going to win most
Yeah.
of the games.
Defense
That
is
defense is that good.
that's what
I
I'm
mean,
saying. Like
Yeah.
it just
I'd
helps
be
out the
comfortable
defense.
scoring like 20 points with that defense. So
Yeah.
the fact that you guys are now scoring points with a great defense, I've been watching football for a while now. If you score a lot of points and you don't give up a lot of points, you're
Mhm.
going to win a lot of games.
Well, as
So-
a Jet fan, that's not true. So whatever.
Yeah.
Viviana, let's see it. Another Steeler. Are you going to Steeler?
I'm not.
Whoa.
Oh,
Okay.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so for my free agent, I went
I
with
like it.
Sam Darnold. The Vikings did draft JJ McCarthy, but then he tore, I believe, like his ACL like in preseason, so he was out. So, but them getting Sam Darnold, they're second in the NFC North right now, behind the Lions. They're 6-2, and the connection with him and Justin Jefferson unmatched. Justin Jefferson right now leads the league in receiving yards. And Sam Darnold has 1,900 yards, 17 touchdowns, which is tied for 4th, and 7 interceptions, which is a little high. So that is a little iffy, but I believe Sam Darnold, he's getting the job done in Minnesota, which they haven't really been seeing, and he's being like pretty consistent. They're scoring over 20 points a game. And yeah, I think he's doing great for the Vikings, and I think he'll continue. Yeah.
I love this pick. I was a Sam Darnold truther, and I'm not just because he was a Jet guy. I wasn't a Zach Wilson truther. He was my guy because he was a Jet, but I wasn't a Zach Wilson truther. Sam Darnold, I always saw this. I'm not gonna lie, I always saw this.
I mean, like he has like the best receiver in football. I'd hope
Yeah.
he would be able to.
Yeah.
produce.
Okay. Good point. That's a really
So-
good point.
But like at the same time, I mean, like he's being smart with the ball. I mean, apart
Yeah.
from last
That
night.
was his main thing. You just would panic and throw the ball away.
Yeah, he still does that here and there. I mean,
Yeah.
I don't know if you guys watched the game last night. He threw an interception right to the Colts defender.
So-
but-
Yeah, that sounds about right.
yeah, but like I mean, he's improved. He's obviously shown that he's improved. I mean, their team's
Yeah.
6-2. So.
Yeah, Sam Darnold's having a great season. People got to forget or remember that he was supposed to be a backup this year. Like he
Yeah.
wasn't
Yeah.
even supposed to play.
Yeah.
The only I do feel bad for Sam Darnold because he's balling, but I do not think unless he wins the Super Bowl, I don't think he's going to be back with Minnesota.
Come home, Sam. Come home.
I mean, maybe bring Aaron
Maybe.
Rodgers for a year or so
Yeah.
if he's still playing.
Yeah.
But
Yeah, listen,
Right.
I love that pick. I'm gonna stay with that same exact team. Actually, the Minnesota Vikings. I said earlier that if you're a true Super Bowl contender, you need an edge rusher. And Jonathan Greenard maybe had the quietest double-digit sack season of all time last year. He had 12 and a half sacks with the Texans last season. Vikings go out, they lose Danielle Hunter to the Texans, ironically. They pick up Greenard. He's at 7 sacks right now. I mean, he's maybe not a premier edge rusher, but definitely in that higher tier, that top tier. You need to get after the quarterback. And with Greenard, Vikings are doing that. Maybe not the best offseason signing, but maybe the quiet best. Like, I don't know. What would you guys say?
Yeah, I mean, I think it was they had to let Danielle Hunter walk. So
Yeah.
I think that gives them another weapon on defense.
Yeah,
So,
exactly.
They forced fumble, 7 sacks.
you mentioned Brian Flores as a possible head
Yeah.
coach. Like Jonathan Greenard's he's a huge reason why this defense is playing phenomenal right now. He's
Yeah.
having a great season right
Yeah,
now.
shut down Joe Flacco last night. I mean,
Yeah, that's hard to do. I mean, kind of the past 2 years, it has kind of been hard to do.
yeah.
But, yeah, I mean, I like those picks all around. I think they were pretty
think so.
solid and pretty good reasonings. Moving on, finish the sentence. I want you guys to fill in the blank for these different sentences, obviously related to the NFL. First one, love that. First one, the most disappointing team through 9 weeks is who?
I have the Dallas Cowboys
Yeah.
right now. I get it; they're a little injured, but you go out there, you signed Dak Prescott. What was it, a day or two before the season
Yeah.
started? Highest paid
Super
quarterback of
Bowl
all time.
aspirations.
Yeah.
You have your receiver locked up. You have I know Parsons been injured, but you have one of the best edge rushers on the planet. Trayvon Diggs is back. Bland coming off leading or having the most pick sixes in NFL history. This team is supposed to be not this bad right now,
Yeah.
but it is.
I honestly had the Cleveland Browns, and
Yeah.
I think this is
Mhm.
mainly because of one guy and one guy only. It's Deshaun Watson.
Mhm.
This guy was supposed to turn around this team when they traded and signed that big contract
Did the
a
opposite.
couple years ago.
Mhm.
Did the exact opposite. If anything, it just made their offense 10 million times worse.
Yeah,
And it sucks because they still have a good defense.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Like their defense is not by any means bad, and I just think that like the Browns are just giving up. Jameis Winston's in there now. Deshaun Watson's obviously out for the year, so yeah, I think the Browns are.
When,
that
yeah,
high
when
hopes for
Watson was playing, they didn't score over 20 points.
Yeah,
a
they're
game.
no-
It
they're
was
not good.
horrible.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have the Carolina Panthers. I mean, they haven't been good for the last couple of years, and
Yeah.
this is showing this year. And I mean, they got Bryce Young, and this is supposed to be a franchise quarterback,
Mhm.
and he's not even producing.
Nope.
So I mean, they're 2-7 right now, barely winning their second game yesterday against the Saints. But then, like we said, the Saints are also tumbling.
Yeah.
So and then the other one was against the Raiders, and the Raiders aren't also looking that hot either. So like, can you really count it? And their schedule's getting harder, so I don't
Yep.
see them winning. I don't see them producing at all.
Yeah,
Yeah.
the Panthers. They got to stick with Bryce Young, though. But
Yeah,
I think
they-
Bryce
are
Young
pretty-
looked pretty all right yesterday. I don't know if you guys
Yeah.
were watching the
Mhm.
game. but
hopefully.
made some good throws. But
My most disappointing NFL team. I mean, I'm wearing them. It's you're supposed to come into the season. Rodgers coming back on paper. Top. Is it crazy for me to say top 3 roster on paper in the entire NFL?
I definitely
I
say
would
top
say
five
so.
defense. I
I
know
would
It's-
say defense.
I mean, look at the weapons, and they also bought in Devontae Adams. Obviously, they won this week, but even with Adams, that offense didn't look any good. Sitting at 3-6, season's not over, but it's not looking great. It's
Yeah.
got to be. I think it's the New York
Yeah.
Jets.
Rodgers may be 40, but I mean, I wouldn't count him out.
No, me neither. The arm still looks good.
Yeah.
It's just if they can keep him upright. And
Yeah,
I
exactly.
mean,
Yeah,
they're able to
that
last game.
O-line's been a little shaky.
Yeah, definitely
Little
shaky.
shaky.
First quarterback off the board in this upcoming draft, the 2025 NFL draft, will be. This is a good question.
I have Cam Ward.
Yeah.
He's having
do
a heck of a season. Before the season, I would have said Quinn Ewers, but I
Mhm.
think the injury and kind of Arch Manning coming in balling for a little while might have. I have Cam Ward. He's having a great season. He's a great dual threat. But I do not. They have him going to the Panthers, and I don't know. See the Panthers drafting
Yeah,
a quarterback.
that's
What's
hard to
Yeah, I
that?
could see the Panthers. I have it pulled up here. They have Travis Hunter, I would say, going to the Panthers. But
Yeah.
Yeah.
quarterback wise, it was either Shador Sanders or Cam Ward.
Mhm.
I think Cam Ward's just more consistent than Shador is. I mean,
Mhm.
obviously he's been obviously another solid dual threat quarterback, like you mentioned. That's kind of how like the league, like you're gonna want a quarterback that can run in this day and age, especially without high flying defenses are.
Hmm.
So, but yeah, I also would say Cam Ward. I think he's just obviously the most obvious pick over Shador.
Yep.
Yeah, I have Cam Ward too. Right now, he's doing great for Miami. Right now, he leads the NCAA in his QBR. And yeah, I think he's doing pretty good, throwing over 3,000 yards in his last 3 seasons. And yeah, like you said, he's reliable and he's consistent. So I think that's like a team. I don't know about like the Carolina Panthers, like you said, but definitely one of those teams with a higher draft pick. But when looking for a QB, he's the man to go to.
I'd probably also say Ward, but to be different, I'm going to say Penn State wins out. They lose the national championship, and people fall in love with Drew Aller and his stature and everything about that. So I'm going to go Drew Aller.
All right.
The last one, we're going to speed this up a little bit. Just give me the player. Just give me the player on this one. NFL's Defensive Player of the Year will be
Going Trey Hendrickson. I
Trey
think give some Bengals love.
It'll be Dexter Lawrence.
Dexter
9
Lawrence.
sacks.
That's a great
I
one.
have TJ Watt.
TJ Watt. Okay, that's an interesting
Who
pick.
knows?
Bad team.
Who
but
knows?
Who knows?
He always gets snubbed.
I'm going to
Right.
say, I don't know. TJ Watt, I feel like.
Yeah,
that's
always
good. He
always
deserves
gets
it.
snubbed, Yeah, he honestly does.
He does every year. It'll
Every
never
year.
happen.
All right, moving on. Week 9 highlights. I mean, listen, there's plays every week. This week just was unbelievable.
Yeah.
From our own Saquon Barkley. I mean, this one was just unbelievable. Hurdling a guy backwards. I watched him in college hurdle a guy, get hit in midair and land on his feet. What in the world is that?
I don't even know how you can do that.
That
That's
is
wild.
Could you imagine showing somebody this in like the 70s that like a guy did that?
Yeah, Saquon, isn't he like 230 pounds?
He's-
Like,
yeah, he's a-
a
That
big
guy can squat
He can
so
move.
much.
Yeah, I mean, that was insane. The Eagles A+ move, Giants. That's the reason you're the Giants for letting him
Yeah.
walk. He's been a difference maker this year. That was a phenomenal.
I just want to
play.
know how he got that much air backwards. I don't
Yeah.
even know if I could get that
It's
much
just-
air jumping off of like a 5-story
I can't even
building.
get half that.
It's
much
just one
air.
of those plays where I could just never stop watching.
It's
Like I just
crazy.
feel like once I see it, like on like my Instagram feed or something, I
Yeah.
gotta like watch it 3 more times.
Yeah. And that spin move prior
Oh,
to put
yeah.
him, oh,
Yeah.
perfect.
So good.
Everything.
And the fact that like,
Took a
I-
shot too at the end.
and I
Yeah.
always get like the alerts being like, alert, great play. And I was like, okay, whatever. And then I went on Twitter. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah.
I don't know how that's possible.
Oh my.
whatsoever.
Unbelievable. Unbelievable. That honestly was probably the best play of the weekend.
Mhm.
I think this is the best catch of the weekend. Maybe the best catch of the 2020s. Maybe the best catch since OBJ.
Yes.
Yeah,
Garrett
this-
Wilson on Thursday night
Mhm.
against the Houston Texans. I mean, I
Aaron Jordan.
when
Yeah.
when I watched this game, I think I audibly yelled, screamed.
Oh yeah.
I
and-
watched this live.
Unreal. I mean, obviously, I guess I never really knew that ankle shin that counts as 2 feet.
Oh yeah.
So
Yeah.
good to know. Honestly, I'm
yeah,
glad.
I mean, yeah, last week with George Pickens, only getting
Yeah.
1 foot twice. So then when I saw this, I was
Yeah, it's
like,
like, what
is
the
it a
heck?
touchdown? Like, what the heck?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
and
that's
you,
shin though.
you want to talk
Yeah.
about game changing? What was that? Like a 3rd and 10 pass or something?
Third. Yeah,
Was
they
it?
just got a holding call. I think it was like 3rd and 15.
Yeah. So you just take a shot at the end zone. Without that catch, I don't know if the Jets go on to win the game, but that is also true. I didn't know about that shin.
Yeah, I
being
mean,
part of
I'd
that.
say if there's any doubt about Garrett Wilson coming into this game, I think they're all proven
Yeah.
wrong
Yeah.
now
Oh,
for
no,
this
he's a
catch.
stud.
Yeah.
He's a stud.
Absolute stud.
I mean,
oh
that's
my
Penn
gosh.
State. We know that.
Yeah.
So-
Seriously.
we're always owned by Ohio State.
Crazy. He wasn't the only guy though that had a one-handed catch. Another Eagles play, man. They got some playmakers. Devontae Smith. This Loki, that's a ball.
Yeah,
That is
that's
a
good
pass.
That was a
defense.
nice pass.
Like
Yeah.
there's no other place you could put that.
That
ball
Yeah.
is
with the
crazy.
draping defender.
And
So he got
that's
2 feet in.
Yeah,
Yeah.
another 2
I was
Touchdown.
gonna
feet.
say his knee was out.
Yeah, you mentioned
Yeah.
about Garrett Wilson silencing some haters. I think Smith did
Yeah.
when he,
Mhm.
I feel
ever
like
since he
he's
got drafted,
yeah.
being like too small or whatever. He's
Yeah.
been he's
Slim
been
Reaper.
balling. Yeah, so that's another.
I think he's one of the
phenomenal
more
catch.
underrated receivers in the league.
Yeah.
Especially
I
when
mean, he'd
he's
be a number
behind.
one on a bunch of teams.
Yeah,
I'd-
I'm saying
Yeah.
like he's behind AJ Brown,
Saquon
That's
too.
why.
Saquon.
yeah.
Like he just kind of gets lost in that offense, and I
Mhm.
feel like that's what makes the Eagles so good. Is they just have so much talent.
Mhm.
And I
Just-
will say, people were throwing
all
around on
around.
Twitter, oh, Garrett Wilson had the best catch until this. That is not a better catch.
No,
I mean, he
Oh,
didn't
yeah, I don't
even.
know if
I
I
mean,
can
Garrett
do
Wilson
that.
palmed that thing.
Yeah.
He's bringing it in.
He has
Yeah,
some-
like
yeah,
it
he-
bobbed around a little
yeah,
bit.
that doesn't take away how great.
No,
of a
it
catch
doesn't
that
take
is,
away.
But like
Still a great
Yeah.
footwork, great wherewithal.
exactly.
What
Yeah.
a play. And then another one. This one, I mean, yeah, it's a touchdown, but more so just the celebration. Obviously, what was it? An Incarnate Word, I think the player was, pulled this one out on Saturday. And then him, Drake London, and maybe someone, I think it was just them two did it. I mean, hilarious.
Yeah.
This is,
I've seen.
I think this is
Yeah.
funny.
That's cool.
Some people think it's
That's cool.
that's funny.
Especially when you pause it like right when he's upside
Yeah.
down. It's just
Yeah.
like funny.
Better be careful with that celebration.
Yeah, I mean,
You're
Garrett
on your
Wilson's,
head, but-
knowing the Jets luck, Garrett Wilson's going to pull that one out, and he's going to be out with like a fractured neck or
I
something.
know you all
so.
seen the pictures of like that standing straight up and down, and then Saquon with,
Yeah,
everyone with
hurdling,
the hurdle.
yeah.
Yeah, I
It's
mean,
been a
he's-
crazy week.
Yeah,
Yeah.
this
It's been a
one of the
crazy
best
week.
weeks of football. Celebrations getting better.
Yeah,
I
it's
think these
evolving.
receivers
Plays are
are wearing
getting better.
super glue in his hands.
Not to
Yeah.
mention that
Like,
catch keeping those feet in bounds.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Great play.
Yeah.
Even better, Selly.
This is another celebration I can't stop watching.
Yeah.
Just like seeing it.
It's beautiful. Moving on tonight, we have football tonight. Bucks, Chiefs. Let me get some quick predictions. 4-4 Bucks, 7-0 Chiefs. Viviana, you go first.
I'm going the Chiefs. What can I say? I mean, Baker Mayfield. I feel like the Bucks could win if they had all the wide receivers.
Yeah.
They're not healthy.
They're
The
banged
Bucks
up.
aren't healthy, and
Yeah.
I just don't think they'll be able to stop the Chiefs. And then the Chiefs' defense, they're looking really great right now. So I think the Chiefs are sadly going to go 8-0. I hate to say it.
Yeah. You mentioned the Buccaneers receivers being out. I mean, that's a huge loss, obviously. Let's see if D-Hop can, kind of make a statement game as a Chief. But yeah, I got the Chiefs in this one, and I don't expect Mahomes to play this.
You guessed it. I'm going to say the Chiefs because just like you said, they have no receivers.
Yeah.
They're just outmatched. I mean, you got Mahomes, who's obviously not playing his best brand of football we've seen in the past. But 1, it's in Arrowhead. 2, it's Patrick Mahomes. And 3, I think the Chiefs are just the more healthy team.
And just the better team.
Yeah.
Yeah. I'll have one say on this. It's probably going to be the Chiefs. They're getting 9.5 points. That's kind of crazy.
That's
kind of a lot. I know the Bucks are banged up, but 9.5 is a lot.
Yeah.
So I think Vegas is rigging this game. Patrick Mahomes is going to throw for 5 touchdowns, and automatically it's going to be like, Super Bowl MVP back on.
Yeah.
But I'll go Chiefs. This was a solid show. This was a good
lot of fun.
show. It was a good
great.
football weekend. This was a good show. Recap and everything, talking about it. I'm glad we did it. But from Ben, I'm Cade, Peyton, and Viviana. We'll see you tomorrow. We'll see you Wednesday.